Coming up on the DLLS Mavs pregame show, can the Mavericks make it 5 straight as they look to cool off the Miami Heat tonight in South Beach? We get you ready for the game. All that and more coming up next year on the DLLS Mavs pregame show. Hey, what's up, DLLS Mavs Nation? It's your man, Kevin Gray, alongside Mavericks beat writer Tim Cato. We are DLLS Mavs, your favorite guys, covering your favorite team every single day at Kevin Gray Sports, at Tim_Cato. Appreciate you joining us here on the DLLS Mavs pregame show as your Mavericks look to make it 5 in a row tonight as they take on Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat in South Beach. What you need to know, who's in, who's out, plus our scouting report on Miami as well, all coming up here over the next 30 minutes as we get you ready for game time at 5 p.m. between your Mavericks and the Miami Heat. Tim, what's going on, man?
Nothing much. It feels a little empty in here in the studio, even though the Cowboys are being very loud behind us. But it's just us two.
It's a good day here in the DLLS Sports Headquarters studios, except if you're Jeff Kavanaugh, because the Cowboys found a way to take out the Washington Commanders. We'll see if the Mavericks can keep up the winning vibes, as we mentioned, looking for a 5-game winning streak, a season-long 5-game streak. Of course, game time at 5.
Tanner thought it was 6 in a row.
Tanner did think it was 6 in a row, actually. ESPN thought it was 4. Tanner thought it was 6. Let's meet him in the middle at 5.
Unbelievable.
Game 17 for your Mavericks.
Apply in the comments to be our new producer.
No.
We're
actually,
taking applications.
This is the one thing I don't want you to reply to. We love Tanner. We want to keep Tanner. He's great.
I don't know.
He's the best.
Know. I mean, he was trying to make the Mavericks win streak better.
That's why we want to
so
keep
he's
him.
just predicting for like the next game for tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be going for 6 in a row.
That's right.
Oh,
tomorrow,
you were ahead of yourself.
I see what you're doing
well,
there.
Tanner, is it tomorrow?
Last time I checked, no.
Okay, not yet.
Not yet.
Technically, it will never be tomorrow if you really think about it.
I guess so.
That's a deep.
I don't know what's happening here.
I don't know.
I don't know what's happening here.
Shout out to Voss Lombardi. They just finished the
That's
Cowboys
supposed to happen?
post-game show. It can happen. That is the joy of our studios here. Anything can happen. I jumped on their show. He jumped on our show. It's all love here. At
Do we have to pay him
DLLS
to be
Sports.
on our show now too? Because he just showed up.
Because does he have to stay?
Yeah. Never mind.
No, not say it
okay.
all. But shout out to everyone who's in the chat already. I see you, Ardell. I see you, Ronald. I see you, Ben. I see you, Drew. I see you, Coop. Appreciate all of you joining us here. Let's get you ready for the Mavericks taking on the Miami Heat. Heat a 2.5-point favorite tonight. Did you know, gentlemen? Did you know, ESPN? The Miami haven't played a game since last Sunday.
They've played 13 games
or
this
last Monday.
season.
Excuse me, last Monday. Yeah.
They've played 13 games this season. There are teams that have already played 18 games.
That's right.
There are teams that are going for their 19th game tonight. They're sitting at 13, about to be 14 after the game tonight. Really weird scheduling quirk.
It's really bizarre. Yeah, they did Miami last on Monday, November 18th against the 76ers. They won 106-89. Jimmy Butler had 30 points in that game. So the Miami Heat have been off for nearly a week. The Mavericks beginning the first night of a back-to-back. They're in Miami tonight before they travel to Atlanta for a game tomorrow. Lukadoncic, of course, not available as he continues to deal with his right wrist injury. But at the same time, the Mavericks in the middle playing 7 of 9 games on the road, currently tied for the longest winning streak right now in the Western Conference at 4 games. The Clippers also on a 4-game winning streak right now as well. So the Mavericks look to get to 5 tonight with a win over Miami.
Well, it could happen.
It definitely could happen, for sure.
I would say not to jump ahead to the X factors, but I feel like the main thing is like they score more points than Miami. I see it very likely that they're going to win this game.
Yeah, that usually how it works on the scoreboard. If you score more points than the other team, that they usually win. Miami, by the way, 2-2 in their last 4 games. Prior to that, they had lost 3 of 4. Their best win of the season coming probably 2 weeks ago when they went on the road to take out the Minnesota Timberwolves in what was a 1-point win for them there, 95-94. So Miami looking to get themselves on track as well in tonight's game when they take on their longtime, I guess you can call them rival, Dallas Mavericks for sure.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
I'd say so. I mean, It's not to the level of the San Antonio Spurs.
No.
Dallas' main rival.
That's
Even if others who have sat in this exact chair would disagree. But I think when you play the finals twice against each other, that creates a rivalry.
Yeah, for sure. Ronald says, I'm not worried about this Miami team at all. Well, hey, this is why they play the games. That's why you got to get out on the court and see what they got. Let's look at Miami before we get to Tim's scouting report, because he's going to do the scouting report tonight instead of our guy, Bobby Carella.
You think it's going to be better?
It has a possibility. You look like you put some real work into it, unlike Bobby's scouting reports. Just kidding. Just kidding. Don't tell him that, because I work for him. Offensively, Miami led by Tyler Hero this year. He's averaging over 24 points per game, shooting 45% from downtown. Jimmy Butler, the ageless one, at 35 in his 14th season out of Marquette, averaging just under 18 points per game, shooting 50% from the field. He is good to go tonight. He was questionable dealing with an illness, but he will play tonight for Miami. Defensively, led by Bam Adebayo, terrific center for Miami, averaging over 16 points per game, nearly 10 boards per contest, 2 steals, and just over a block per game. But where, Tim, you're focusing on is the shooting of Miami, particularly when it comes to a guy like Tyler Hero, who has shot the ball extremely well for Miami so far this year.
Yeah, so Miami, they're 6-7 with their 13 games played, as we talked about, a startlingly low number. They are the 14th best offense in the league. They are the 15th best defense. So in a lot of ways, they're the epitome of mid, if you will. They're very much a middling team in a very middling conference, that is the Eastern Conference. But one thing Miami is very good at, three-point shooting. Especially right now. They've got Bam shooting threes. So they play 5-out lineups. Right now, with Thomas O'Brien out, they're playing Kevin Love as the backup center. There's a chance you could see Khalil Ware pop in there. He wasn't in their last game. But yeah, Kevin Love has been the main backup. And obviously, Kevin Love at this point, his best offensive skill is three-point shooting. And yeah, so led by Tyler Hero, who's having an incredible season. He is averaging more made threes per game than Stephen Curry. And this team, just overall, they're the 5th best when it comes to three-point shooting. This is a very good three-point shooting team. They're also doing that damage, not from the corners. This is not an offense that is constantly getting to the rim and breaking down your defense. They just have a lot of good quality shot makers, three-point shot makers. So, yes, it starts with Tyler Hero, absolutely, but just all up and down their roster.
Throw Duncan Robinson in there as well.
Yeah, Duncan Robinson is coming off the bench. He's averaging, 2.5 a game. They've got Terry Rozier. Alec Burks is in their rotation. Oh, Alec Burks a little bit. He'll pop in there here and there. But when he's playing, he's making. When Kevin Love is playing, he's making. Haywood Highsmith, who just has such a name of a big man.
That's an old school throwback name, Haywood Highsmith. Yes. So
I'm going to let you in on my brain a little bit. I cannot.
It's a real basketball name.
I cannot wrap my head around Haywood Highsmith not being a unskilled big man who's like 7'2".
That wears glasses or something.
Yeah, exactly.
With all due respect,
exactly.
I wear glasses. With all due respect.
Maybe he has a Brandon Bass mid ranger, but it just doesn't make sense to me that he's a 6'5" wing and a quite good one. So he's fully in their rotation. And then Nikola Jovic.
Not to be confused with Nikola Jokic.
Yeah, they're brothers. They're brothers. So different people. One of them is a little bit taller, but these are all 3-point shooters. They're playing. Last game they played someone called Drew Smith.
I have no idea who that is.
Yeah, I didn't either. But it is time to figure it out.
Yes.
So Josh Richardson also coming off the bench on the rotation for them. He might be their worst 3-point shooter when it comes to percentages so far. But yeah, having a decent season. So yeah, this is a team that is going to space you out. This is a team that is going to use isolation, use the pick and roll to create self-generated 3-point attempts. And that's something that, I think it's going to be a big Derek Lively game. Wasn't even on the injury report, skipping ahead a little bit, but he's good to go. And so yeah, a lot of what Dallas is going to have to do is shade aggressively and correctly above the 3-point line. At some point, you're just going to have to live with those shots. That's what Miami is very good at, but that's the thing to watch out when it comes to their offense.
As Tim mentioned, Miami number 5 in the NBA in 3-point percentage at 38.2%. They make 15 threes a game, which is good for number 8 in the association. They also protect the ball well. Number 5 in the NBA, only committing 12.8 turnovers per game. So they shoot the ball well from 3.
They also turn it over against teams.
Yes, they're number 3 in the NBA, averaging nearly 10 steals per contest. So you got to protect the ball versus also making sure that you're not turning the ball over against them, because they will take advantage of that. The Mavericks have been taking advantage of what has been a terrific bench for them over the last several games, particularly the last 3 games. 3 straight games with 7 guys in double figures. They haven't done that since March of 2016. The Mavericks bench in the last 3 games averaging 54.3 points per game in wins over the Thunder, the Pelicans, and, of course, on Friday night over the Denver Nuggets.
Did you say 2017?
Since 2016.
2016.
Yeah, since 2016.
Who is coming off the bench for the Mavericks in 2016? Please, chat, help me out. I am. Would that have been Vince Carter already left? That would have been Al-Farouq Aminu.
Potential, yeah.
That would have been Justin Anderson. That would have been what center was playing that year?
Oh man,
DeAndre was the starter.
That
maybe
sounds right. Look, man.
Chat, help us out. Help us out.
Chat will fill us in.
You can Google it. I don't care. This isn't like a trivia thing. This isn't a test. I need to know who was coming off the bench in 2016 for the Mavericks.
Well, you know who's coming off the bench right now for the Mavericks. That's Najee Marshall. He had a career high 26 points. He now has double figures in 7 of his last 10 games, averaging 14 points per game in that span and shooting 60% from the field. The Mavericks bench doing work, and they'll have to continue to do that work without their superstar Luka in the lineup, as we mentioned, continuing to deal with that wrist injury. During their 4-game winning streak, the Mavericks, number 5 in offensive rating, number 5 in defensive rating, and number 1 in overall net rating at a whopping plus 16 in their last 4 games. Also, number 2.
Good team.
Yeah, they've been really good in terms of rebounding percentage.
Right.
Maybe you were right, because you said that they've been a good team.
Yeah, we all have.
All year long. 56.7 rebounding percentage. That's one of the best in the NBA. And number 2 in the league overall, averaging nearly 50 boards per contest. You started to allude to it. Derek Lively, good to go. Daniel Gafford, good to go as well, dealing with the left shoulder soreness. The Mavericks have a chance to take advantage of their size in the middle if Derek Lively particularly can stay on the floor and stay out of foul trouble tonight against Miami.
Yeah, I don't think Salah Mejri is going to be good to go, but he was always good to go off the bench for the 2016 Dallas Mavericks. So thank you, Ben. Thank you, Ben, for that.
You
Dwight
forgot,
Powell was also.
Charlie V.
Oh,
Charlie
Charlie
Villanueva?
Villanueva.
That's a good one.
The man who had his toilet stolen once.
Wait, what?
Yeah. He tweeted about it one time that somebody broke into his house and stole his toilet.
What a random thing for someone to come in your house and take.
Yeah.
Like, you couldn't take nothing else. You wouldn't want to take anything out the fridge, TV. You decided to go for the toilet. It was like,
Do you think I hope he's replaced it by now.
it was like gold plated or something.
I hope Charlie's doing
Yeah.
okay. Like that is a hard thing to come back from. The bench has been great.
Yes.
Najee needs to continue. Dallas is actually the team that takes the most shots from what Cleaning the Glass calls the short mid-range. And we talk a lot about the short mid-range. We talk a lot about it in the context of Najee Marshall. But when Najee's doing that, when you add in Luka and Kyrie, who are maestros at operating in that area, this is a team that thrives 5 to 9 feet away from the rim, or maybe I believe this qualification is inside the free throw line, so about 16 feet and in. That is the area, but not quite at the rim. That's the area where Dallas feasts. That's something you're gonna have to do when Bam Adebayo is out here. You know, like he is an elite, dominant, one of the best defensive players in the entire league. Sometimes you just can't finish over him. Sometimes you're not. He's going to be a little switchy. Miami still wants to keep him at the rim as much as possible. Being a switchable big is a good thing to an extent. If you're a great shot blocker, ultimately it doesn't matter how well you guard guards. The point of the defense built around them is to stay at the rim as much as possible.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is going to be another game where they're maybe going to have to live kind of in that not quite the rim, but still really quality shot area. Might be another game for Dallas to kind of feast in that area, as they have been all season.
And we saw in the Denver game how well Lively particularly can show his activity, where they're getting out to shooters at the three-point line, recovery, making block shots. He had 2 terrific blocks on what was Russell Westbrook and Nikola Jokic when they needed to most to keep that game tied. Eventually, the Mavericks were able to get that done. The Mavericks playing their first of 2 matchups against the Miami Heat this season. These 2 teams won't see each other again until mid-February as the Mavericks. Oh, wow. That is the toilet that was stolen.
Yeah.
It's
Fully
stolen out of Charlie Villanueva's house.
I'll
sure.
pop it in the chat. I wasn't lying.
No, you were not lying. Not at all. Again, these 2 teams won't see each other again until mid-February. The Mavericks won the season series last year, 2-0. These 2 teams got together last on April 10th in Miami, with the Dallas Mavericks getting the 111-92 win for what was their 50th win of the season last year. Luka Doncic that night had 29, 9, and 9. Tyler Hero had 21 points in the loss. More on this matchup between your Mavericks and the Miami Heat tonight in South Beach as the Mavericks look to cool off Jimmy Butler and Miami for what will be a second win, especially on the road after beating Denver on Friday night. But before we get there, we want you to become a diehard member here at DLLS Sports. Make sure you go to alldlls.com to become a diehard member. You get a physical diehard card to show off your membership as well. Yeah, I didn't say it. You can show off your membership.
Nobody knows how that word is pronounced.
That's very true. I just want to make sure, look, I didn't say it. Just want to make sure. But you can also get 20% off events, premium content on our website as well from our guy Tim Cato, Clarence Hill, Joe Hoyt, all of our terrific beat writers, Jeff Wilson, Sam Nessler, Sean Shapiro. Don't want to leave anybody out when it comes to all the terrific content that you get from Mavericks, Cowboys, Stars, and Rangers as well. Plus, you got pregame shows, postgame shows, and you get a free T-shirt when you become a diehard member here as well. So again, go to alldlls.com, become a diehard member for less than $7 a month. Join our DLLS Sports family. And as Mark W. says in the chat, the card is legit. That card is legit, man. It's really nice, and we want you to show it off. Tag us on social media, and we'll be able to shout you out here on DLLS Sports. Again, alldlls.com. Become a diehard member today. Mavericks taking on the Miami Heat. Tip-off at 5 p.m. tonight. Don't forget our post-game show will be 15 minutes after the final buzzer. Myself, Tim Cato, Mark Stein as well with his news and notes and insights around the association. If you haven't already, I encourage you to check out his piece on Mark Cuban and why Mark Cuban isn't going to road games these days. It's a very interesting and funny reason why he's not going to Mavericks road games. Again, check out Mark's piece.
I think Stein put it in the tweet. So
he put it in the tweet?
Yeah, he put it in the tweet, so it's okay to say. Like the NBA isn't letting him sit behind the bench. Yeah, that's
that is real petty. That the NBA won't let him do
because
that.
Mark revealed that, because Mark allowed that to be said. Yes. I mean, he's a super fan.
Yeah, he's a big super fan.
Yeah,
who still owns like 27% of his team right now. So that's how that works.
Yeah, but that's not 50.
That's definitely not a majority.
It's definitely not 50.
It's not a majority. That's for sure. But I'm sure he's doing just fine.
Well, won't somebody think of the billionaires?
I mean,
it's just it's such a hard life they live. They have to sit a row behind the bench. A row behind the row behind the bench.
And I guess that was not enough for Mark Cuban. So he decided, you know what? Not even going to go to the road games anymore. Don't even worry about it. You'll just catch me at the American Airlines Center. Let's get to who's playing tonight between the Miami Heat and your Dallas Mavericks. As we mentioned earlier, Jimmy Butler, he is available and good to go. He's been dealing with a little bit of illness, but he is ready to play. Jaime Jaquez Jr., he's available. He's dealing with a right ankle sprain. And Nikola Jovic, he's been dealing with a nasal fracture, but he will play for Miami tonight. That is hard to do, playing with a broken nose. Like the mask. Anyway.
Yeah, I've never done that.
Yeah, you out here.
But if I had,
you would do it.
Yeah, I would have done it. Of course.
You play with a broken nose. Shout out to you.
Yeah. What do you think the mask feels like?
Probably be hard to breathe at first, but before you get used to it.
Remember when Luka wore one? And then within like 3 minutes of the game, he took it off.
Yeah, he couldn't stand it. Yeah. Because you got to get used to like breathing, and you get the sweat.
It was a black mask too. It wasn't one of the clear ones.
Was it like the one LeBron had? Remember the one? The
Batman one.
Yeah, the Dark Knight one.
Yeah, the Dark Knight. Yeah, absolutely.
Speaking
it was
of
one
Miami,
of those.
yeah, I remember that. Luka Doncic remains out with his right wrist sprain. Daniel Gafford is available and good to go. He popped up on the injury report with some left shoulder soreness, but he has said that he is ready to play tonight. That is huge for the Mavericks for their center tandem when it comes to Derek Lively II and also Daniel Gafford, them patrolling the middle to give the Mavericks a real size advantage there.
And then for the Mavericks starting lineup, it's going to be the same. Quentin Grimes is once again in the place for Luka. Derek Lively remains the starter. Tell me that Klay Thompson like the little photo that the Dallas Mavericks Twitter account used,
Yeah.
it looks like a yassified version of him. You know, like it looks like they did the Chad meme. You know, where like his jawline is very sharp.
Yes,
in this little
very defined.
avatar. Go look it
Yes.
up at Dallas Mavs. That's the Twitter account if you've ever heard of it. The X account. And but yeah, same starting five, and it makes sense. You know, obviously, like 4-game winning streak. Of course, you're not going to change things. But Quentin Grimes has been great in the starting lineup. He is the player who makes the most sense. I like Najee coming off the bench for the team because that way Najee has a little bit more. What's the word? Impetus. He has just a little bit more say in the offense. Like he comes in off the bench understanding that this is going to be, you know, the offense that the team is running through him to an extent. And I think that's a great role for Najee. And I think it's a great role for Quentin Grimes that he is playing off of Kyrie. He is playing off the best version of the offense. He is a great player to play off a great offense. I think Najee is a great player to create a good offense.
Yes.
You know, and so it's a dichotomy that makes sense.
No, for sure. And when you look at the Mavericks,
Is that the first dichotomy reference?
I think so. I think
That's the first time we've said dichotomy on the show.
Yeah, you brought it out. Kyrie Irving.
I know words.
Also in the starting lineup, averaging nearly 24 points per game. If you're going to be watching the game, you can watch it on MAVS TV and KFAA channel 29 tonight. Let's get to some of our X factors for tonight's game. One of the gentlemen in the starting lineup for your Dallas Mavericks has been playing terrific basketball as of late, and that is one P.J. Washington Jr. He's been on fire. Can he keep it going as Washington and the Mavericks are 5-0 lifetime when PJ has a double-double? He's got 2 in his last 3 games. He had the 27.
He should do that every game then.
Yeah, he should probably just do it every time because every time he has one, they win.
Unbelievable. Selfish player to not get a double-double every. Is he fully committed to the Dallas Mavericks? More on first take.
That's a great headline. 27 points, 17 rebounds, which was a career high for him in the win over the Oklahoma City Thunder, and the win on Friday night against the Denver Nuggets. Had 22 points and 13 rebounds. By the way, he's been great on the road so far for Dallas this year. In 4 games, averaging nearly 18 points per game and over 11 rebounds per contest. Good thing the Mavericks are on the road tonight as they take on the Miami Heat. PJ Washington, since coming back from his knee injury, has been playing extremely well for Dallas so far.
Yeah, I mean, he's, you're kicking to Bobby Karalla right now. He's the most important player on the Mavericks.
That's right.
Bobby, as Bobby Karalla, a Father John Misty enjoyer, I think he's more important than lukadoncic. You know,
you're doing
Isn't
some
that
heavy
what he
lifting,
says?
Tim. You're doing some heavy lifting.
Yeah,
there.
well,
Okay.
I might not quite be remembering. He's a really important player for Dallas, and this is a great matchup for him. You know, as the team, Miami's going to play a little bit of smaller, like we talked about. They're playing all 5 out, and it's not small ball. They have centers out there, but it's a team that it's not going to quite be like Oklahoma City. It's not quite be big, get bored, get ball. It's not
that really is,
that.
Bobby. That really is.
It's not quite that. But Miami is a team that I think they can outmuscle. I think they can be big against, and PJ Washington is the guy who leads that. He's not, a second 7-footer, but he has played so big all season. It's a very important aspect of Dallas. Like, we saw that Dallas just wasn't the team that we kind of expected them to be when he was out. And so, yeah, very, very good to get him back in there.
One of the things I've enjoyed with Washington and the Mavericks have done a concerted effort with, especially over the last few games, if you've been watching, is getting him on the block, getting him posted up, and taking advantage of the mismatches and smaller defenders that he will see from time to time. And he's done really well in terms of the efficiency around the rim. He's finished strong at the rim, and it's something that I really like for the Mavericks when it comes to PJ Washington in this game so far this year.
Yeah, and I've talked about before on the show about how PJ was a go-to scorer, an isolation scorer in Charlotte at times. Just a really talented player, but they didn't quite know what to do with him. I like him a lot better in this role player role, but I was waiting to see, okay, where is Dallas going to find this just a small portion of the offense that they can use him as a scorer? And I think slowly, very clearly, they're developing that role to be a little post up. Not dissimilar to Sean Marion back in the day. Remember that the title winning team, they would post up Sean Marion. So when you have a third or fourth best player, a automatic starter, someone who you rely on for so many things, but also has the talent to be able to put the ball in the basket every once in a while, it's nice to find a little slice of the offense to kind of carve out for him. And yeah, absolutely. It has been the post up of late. And just really interested in seeing it continue. He's shown a lot to me in those situations and those specific areas.
Washington looking to keep it going tonight. A guy who needs to get it going, especially from the 3-point line, is one Klay Thompson. Can he find it from downtown? Has been struggling as of late in his last 2 road games. A combined 1 of 19 from the field and 1 of 12 from the 3-point line. Defensively has been pretty decent for Dallas so far this year, but offensively they have got to get more from him. He hit 5 threes in the game over the Pelicans in that win at the AAC, but Klay Thompson, Tim, has got to get it going from the 3-point line to command that respect and keep that spacing that the Mavericks like to have with him shooting the ball out there.
Yeah, he needs to channel his inner Duncan Robinson.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Yes.
But sincerely, like this is your great chance for regression to the mean. And yeah, like everybody knows he's coming off an offer, and we don't expect that to be the case most of the time. But this is a player that has a little bit to prove and has a little bit to bounce back from. And what a great time to do it.
Yeah, what a good time to do it tonight. As we mentioned again, last 2 road games, just 1 of 12 from downtown. He's got to have a big night tonight for the Dallas Mavericks, especially from the 3-point line. Last X factor for me when it comes to this team. Shout out to Katya. She's in here. Yes.
Oh, she has a question for us.
What was Jimmy? I think it was just a normal one. I think it was just, he didn't go anything too
his
crazy.
headshot. So what's not normal about his headshot is that it's normal.
It's normal. Yeah. It was just a regular headshot because last year he did the whole emo look? Yeah. That's right. Exactly. Yeah. I think he kept it real. He kept it real regular this year, which is we don't want Katya upset.
He has red hair. He has red hair right now. Well, like red streaks.
Yeah.
If Miami
go Mavs.
If Miami
Bye,
beats the Mavericks, then Tanner has to dye his hair in the same way that Jimmy Butler's is.
I'd pay good money to see that. Actually,
I think it'd be a great look.
Oh, you would do that?
Yeah, I think it would work.
Is this? Are you expressing confidence in the Mavericks winning tonight, or are you expressing?
I already did when I said they're going for. Remember?
That's
true.
right.
That's
You
true.
predicted they're
That's
going
right.
for 6 in a row.
That's right.
But you also have confidence that it would be a good look for you.
I think.
I think
so,
it'd be
yeah.
a great look for
I
Tanner.
think it'd be
actually.
fantastic.
It'd be fantastic.
You'd have to replace
I
me
can do
as the analyst, though.
Thanks, Kat.
Kat yells in that it would be a great look. So.
It would be a great look.
So wait, it was at the Mavs win. I have to do it.
No,
No.
Miami wins.
It's
Oh,
Miami.
Oh.
Yeah, so
Okay.
you're also
All right.
expressing confidence in Dallas winning tonight.
Okay, got it.
That you won't even have to bother.
Okay, let's do it.
We want the Mavs to win just regardless. By the way, they have to get off to a fast start if they want to do that. Can those continue? The Mavericks have won each of their last 3 first quarters, outscoring their opponents 116.
How times change.
How about that, huh? You get off to a fast start in first quarters and you win ball games. They're outscoring their opponents 116-94 in their last 3 first quarters, outscoring their opponents on average by 7 points in that first quarter. That, if that can continue tonight, that will give them a good chance to be able to win against Miami.
Yeah, it was obviously an issue. I mean, I even remember asking Kyrie about, like, you guys are obviously focusing on and talking about getting off to better starts, coming into games with more energy. Why isn't it happening? And Kyrie, to summarize his answer very short and very loosely, he was like, "Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why it's not translating."
That's honest.
Yeah. But he was quite honest that it was this weird thing that he didn't really understand. He's like, I'm as confused as you are. And but yeah, after a few weeks of this playing them and them really focusing on this, it is finally coming around for Dallas. They are starting better. I think every first quarter matters. Every first quarter start gives you an indication of how a game is going to go. But yeah, equally important in this one that a quick start, I think, indicates good things ahead in this game tonight. Or maybe it doesn't. Who knows?
Well, guess what? It's game time as your Mavericks visit the Miami Heat. That's right. Looking for 5 straight wins and their second consecutive road win on this 3-game road trip after taking out Denver on Friday night. First night of a back-to-back on the road with Miami tonight and then Atlanta tomorrow. We'll be back here 15 minutes after the final buzzer as we will have the DLLS Mavs postgame show. Myself, Tim Cato, Mark Stein as well. Make sure you join us here on DLLS Sports for the DLLS Mavs postgame show. Appreciate all of you joining us here on the pregame show, and we'll talk to you after the game here on DLLS Sports. Y'all be good. We'll talk to you later. Peace.
all city like the mayor.